I want to take a minute to reflect on the enormity of the situation before us. If we've learned anything from this crisis, if we've learned anything about how staying at home can flatten the curve and keep our families and our communities safe, it's that housing is healthcare. Americans shouldn't have to fear being thrown out on the street if they miss their next rent or mortgage payment. And when the protections in the Act runs out, we could be facing a foreclosure crisis even greater than the one we faced during the Great Recession. We can stop that if we want to. All it takes is for this committee to marshal the resources of the federal government, and we can make sure that every American has a safe and healthy place to call home. In that vein, Mrs. Wade, we saw during the Great Recession how FHA stepped into the market when private lenders were unable or unwilling to do so. If confirmed, will you commit to making sure FHA plays a strong countercyclical role in the mortgage market to help finance a home for American families now that private lenders may be less willing to do so?
Yes, Senator. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for commenting on the gravity of the situation. And I believe that this is integral. Providing and performing a countercyclical support is integral to FHA's mission. It is incredibly important that FHA stay open for business and do everything that it can to promote market stability during this time.
What specific actions would you be looking, if confirmed, to take in the next 6 months to further that aim?
Yes, and that is a great question. And I think, again, maintaining FHA's operation and doing things that will allow consumers to continue to access credit, such as IT modernization, which has really streamlined the process for obtaining credit, other organizational goals in order to help FHA to operate on a daily basis. I think implementing the CARES Act and future assistance packages will also be incredibly important for FHA, and I know if confirmed, I will do everything I can to expeditiously get that any CARES Act support or additional support to those who need it the most.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that upon your confirmation. Mr. Miller, would you agree that independence is among the most important qualities for an inspector general? Yes or no?
I do, sir. Yes, Senator.
If the president or someone from the White House calls you to discuss the recovery, would you take the call? Yes or no?
If someone from the press, did you say?
No, I said if the president or someone from the White House calls you to discuss the recovery, would you take that call?
I don't think that I will receive such a call, but it depends on what the call is about. I will not be pressured to not perform an audit or an investigation, but it's hard to say if I don't know what the call is about.
Let me further refine it. If Secretary Mnuchin wants to explain why certain companies received assistance under the CARES Act, do you think it's appropriate to take his call?
Well, I think it's appropriate to know why he's making such determinations. And if he wants to explain it himself, I would think that my office would like to listen. Whether I sit in on that meeting or not is something I'd have to decide on, but certainly we want to know why they are administering programs in the way that they are.
Well, I think there's a difference when you're generating those questions to them than when they're trying to weigh in as to why they've acted the way they've acted, ways that may or may not be within the law's context. Let me ask you this. You were in the White House's counsel's office when the president decided to terminate Intelligence Community Inspector General Atkinson. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you play any role in that decision?
Senator, I can't get into specifics about what goes on in the White House counsel's office. I do appreciate
any specific. I simply asked if you played a role. I didn't ask you what role you played.
Senator, I've read about the firing of Mr. Atkinson in the newspaper.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question. Let me ask you this. President Trump said of Inspector General Atkinson, the man is a disgrace to, IGs. He's a total disgrace. Do you agree with that statement?
Senator, there's a number of reasons why I don't want to get involved in that question. First of all, I don't know all the facts. I don't know what went on. I don't know what the thinking was. And secondly, a lot of that is protected by White House confidentiality. As a lawyer, I have ethical obligations that bind all lawyers. And when Justice Kagan was before the Senate for confirmation, she limited her comments about her time in White House counsel's office and her time in the Clinton Domestic Policy Council of the White House.
My time's expired, but I just want to say I didn't ask you what you specifically did, if you did something. I asked you whether you were involved. I didn't ask you about any confidentiality when I asked the question about the way that the president classified Inspector Atkinson. And I think that independence of inspector generals, as you stated, is incredibly important. And so trying to judge how you view those actions independently of whether you participated or not is very telling. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.